At minus 71 degrees Celsius in the frozen wilderness of Yakutia, Siberia, survival itself was a miracle. The wind screamed through the endless white tundra like a living creature, and every breath felt like ice cutting through the lungs. Deep inside the deadly Siberian taiga, an old woman named Valentina walked slowly through the storm, carrying only a weak lantern and courage that kept her alive for 82 winters. Snow covered everything. The trees, the ground, even the sky seemed
so
frozen.
warm tonight.
But then, through the roar of the blizzard,
The storm
she
outside
heard
is
something
fierce.
strange. An eagle,
But in here,
a loud,
I feel
desperate
at
cry
peace.
echoed above the storm. Valentina stopped walking and slowly looked toward the dark sky. Through the falling snow, a giant golden eagle circled above her head. Again and again, it screamed into the wind. Its wings fought against the storm as if it was trying to warn her about something hidden in the frozen forest. The old woman tightened her coat and continued staring upward. The eagle suddenly flew lower, closer than any wild eagle ever would. It landed on a frozen branch nearby and stared directly into her eyes. Then it screamed again, not like a predator, like a creature begging for help. The bird suddenly flew deeper into the forest, but after a few seconds, it turned back toward her, waiting, watching. Valentina's heartbeat slowed. The eagle wanted her to follow. The old woman stepped into the dark Siberian forest, while violent snow whipped from the trees. The lantern flickered weakly against the darkness. Every branch cracked under the weight of ice. The deeper she walked, the more dangerous the forest became. Then suddenly, she noticed tracks in the snow. Valentina slowly knelt down beside her, huge paw prints.
Whoa, easy
Tiger.
there, big guy.
The tracks were fresh. Beside them were tiny fox footprints scattered wildly through the snow, as if something had been running for its life. The old woman looked around nervously. Somewhere nearby, death was watching. The eagle screamed again from above. Valentina followed the tracks deeper into the frozen taiga until she finally saw it, a small red fox. The animal lay beside a frozen fallen tree, shaking violently from the cold. Snow covered its orange fur, and blood stained the white ground beneath it. The terrified fox tried weakly to crawl away, but it was too injured to move. Valentina slowly approached it, but before she could reach the animal, the forest went silent. No wind, no branches, nothing. And then a deep growl echoed through the storm. Valentina froze. Out of the white blizzard emerged a massive Siberian tiger. Its glowing eyes locked onto the injured fox.
It's all right.
Snow
I've
swirled
got you.
around its giant body,
We'll find
while
shelter
icy
soon.
breath
Just
rose from
hold
its
on.
mouth like smoke.
There you
The
go.
predator moved slowly
fox.
through the snow. One step,
Hang
then
on
another.
tight, little one.
The tiger was starving, and now it had found
Whoa,
prey.
stand me!
Valentina's hands trembled around the edge. At her age, nobody could outrun a Siberian tiger in deep snow. One attack would end quickly, but the fox looked at her with terrified eyes. And somehow, the old woman could not leave behind. The tiger stepped closer. Its paws crushed frozen snow beneath its enormous weight. Frost covered its whiskers while low growls vibrated through the forest. And suddenly, the eagle attacked. Like lightning from the sky, the giant bird slammed into the tiger's face with its sharp talons. Snow exploded into the air. The tiger roared furiously and swiped at the eagle while the storm raged around them. Valentina knew this was her only chance. She rushed toward the fox, wrapped it tightly inside her thick fur coat, and held the trembling animal against her chest. The tiger roared again, this time louder, angrier. The predator turned toward her, and then the chase began. Valentina ran through the deep Siberian snow as fast as her old legs could carry her. Her lungs burned in the freezing air. Behind her, the giant tiger crashed through the storm like a monster from the darkness. The eagle screamed overhead, circling wildly through the snow in Valentina's face, so hard she could barely see. The trees rushed past in the darkness, while the tiger grew closer with every second. Then suddenly, the forest ended. Ahead of her was a frozen river stretching across the white wilderness. Valentina stepped onto the ice carefully while carrying the fox against her chest. Behind her, the tiger charged forward. A loud crack echoed beneath the ice. Valentina looked down in horror. The frozen river was breaking. Thin cracks spread rapidly beneath the tiger's enormous weight. The predator tried to stop, but the ice shattered beneath one of its paws. Freezing black water exploded upward into the storm. The tiger roared violently while struggling to regain balance. For one terrifying moment, it nearly disappeared into the icy river. Valentina backed away slowly, clutching the fox tightly while snow blew across the cracking ice. Then the eagle landed in front of her. Its giant wings spread wide against the storm like a guardian, protecting them from death itself. The tiger stared at them from the broken ice. But finally, exhausted and furious, it slowly retreated back into the frozen blizzard. And then it vanished. Only the storm remained. Hours later, deep in the Siberian wilderness, a tiny wooden cabin glowed warmly against the endless snow. Inside, fire crackled softly while Valentina wrapped the injured fox in blankets beside the fireplace. Outside, the deadly Yakutia storm continued screaming through the night. But inside the cabin there was warmth, safety, life. The fox slowly opened its eyes and looked toward the old woman beside the fire. For the first time since the nightmare began, it was no longer afraid. The next morning, the sunlight finally touched the frozen land of Siberia. Valentina opened her cabin door and stepped outside into the silent snow. And there, sitting quietly above the cabin roof, was the eagle. The giant bird watched her peacefully as golden sunlight reflected across the endless white wilderness. For a few silent moments, human, eagle, and fox stood together in the frozen heart of Yakutia. 3 survivors, bound forever by one impossible night at minus 71 degrees Celsius in Siberia. At minus 71 degrees Celsius in the frozen wilderness of Yakutia, Siberia, survival itself was a miracle. The wind screamed through the endless white tundra like a living creature, and every breath felt like ice cutting through the lungs. Deep inside the deadly Siberian taiga, an old woman named Valentina walked slowly through the storm, carrying only a weak lantern and the courage that had kept her alive for 82 winters. Snow covered everything. The trees, the ground, even the sky seemed frozen. But then, through the roar of the blizzard, she heard something strange. An eagle, a loud, desperate cry echoed above the storm. Valentina stopped walking and slowly looked toward the dark sky. Through the falling snow, a giant golden eagle circled above her head. Again and again, it screamed into the wind. Its wings fought against the storm as if it was trying to warn her about something hidden in the frozen forest. The old woman tightened her coat and continued staring upward. The eagle suddenly flew lower, closer than any wild eagle ever would. It landed on a frozen branch nearby and stared directly into her eyes. Then it screamed again, not like a predator, like a creature begging for help. The bird suddenly flew deeper into the forest, but after a few seconds, it turned back toward her, waiting.